Move over, Ryan Reynolds. We have a new bad boy in town. And this one is 10 times, 20, maybe 50 times worse. All of you Don Draper Mad Men fans, that's me. You're not gonna like this one. You're not gonna like this one, but you have to put your feelings aside, because what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And this guy, Jon Hamm, he's a POS. Let's get into this. Shout out to Maureen Callahan, who has a new podcast called The Nerve. She did a phenomenal deep dive into this story that has been exposed before. But you know what happens in Hollywood? All the things that happen to people that we don't want to deem as like bad seeds gets shoved under the rug. But she brought it all out, and I'm shocked. I'm shocked at not only what Jon Hamm has done, but also how he responded to this just a few years ago. So what did he do? The year was 1990, and it was at University of Texas, Austin, UT Austin, and Jon Hamm here was a sophomore for the fraternity. I don't know, some fraternity. Doesn't matter. It got disbanded shortly after this incident. Now, before I get into the story, I know a lot of you guys are going to say, oh my God, he was in college. I've done stupid things in college. You can't go and cancel everything that you did in college. But let me tell you, when you hear about the actual story, I think that you're going to actually change your mind, because if you guys did these kinds of things in college, I don't want to know you. Then maybe there's something wrong with you. Like, that's actually maybe a mental disorder. I don't want to diagnose you. But let's hear about what he did. We've all heard of hazing, right? We've all heard of that. We've seen the documentaries. And remember, this is 1990. So this is before all the laws and the rules or whatever. 1990, and the victim of this haze was freshman Mark Saunders. This guy, Mark Saunders, who, as far as we know, just wanted to be part of the cool kids club. We've all been there, right? Just wanted to be part of the cool kids club. And so he's hanging out, trying to get into the fraternity, and a couple of the guys led by Jon Hamm. Jon Hamm was the chief officer of this fraternity and the hazing incident, brings him and a couple other guys downstairs and starts beating them with paddles. Not ping pong paddles, major serious paddles. Starts beating the crap out of them so badly that he got hit so intensely on his kidney. Major kidney damage. He felt like his kidney had seriously been attacked. I wouldn't even know where my kidney is. I wouldn't even know what that feels like, but this guy did. He was in so much agony, so much pain. Then immediately, Jon Hamm then takes him and leads him into a very dirty, small area. Just Jon and Mark. A small area called the Pit. It's a dark, small, dirty area. And tells him that he needs to start doing push-ups. Now, all of this story is not just what I am telling you. It's what Mark eventually told the police. So this is off a police report. He starts having to do push-ups. He's trying so hard to do push-ups with a kidney, he said, in so much pain. He's out of breath. He can hardly function. He's probably scared beyond belief. And then what does Jon do? Jon Hamm right here with the hat, just so you can have a visual of what he looked like these days. He then allegedly takes a friend and they grab him by the underwear and they do what's called sawing, which is they pull him up so hard by the underwear and literally basically give him the most painful wedgie of his life, where it feels like it's going through his body with his underwear. This is after getting the shit beat out of him on his kidneys and having him do push-ups. But it doesn't end there. Then they take a lighter, Jon Hamm specifically, and start lighting his belt to the point where his belt loops go on fire, start lighting on fire. Now Mark is freaking out. Mark is, of course, the victim. He's freaking out and he starts trying to put it out because he's wearing a cotton shirt. He says he starts panicking that he's gonna start burning on fire. He starts putting it out with his hands. Jon Hamm doesn't let him. Then he starts having to blow it out with his hand, with his mouth. Soon after that, Mark Saunders had to withdraw from his university and seek counseling and, of course, medical help, I'm sure, from the injuries. And Jon, he went on to become an actor, a very successful one, playing John Draper in Mad Men and a variety of other films and movies and TV shows, and become best friends with people like Andy Cohen, of all people, and, you know, play it off. In 2015, he was asked by a reporter at Esquire about it, and here's what he had to say about it. In a 2018 article for Esquire, he was asked about it, and it was first brought up in 2015. So in this interview, the reporter says, when I bring up the incident, which was reported in Texas newspapers at the time and resurfaced in 2015, first in the tabloids and then in the Washington Post, Hamm bristles. He tells me, I wouldn't say it's accurate. Everything about that is sensationalized. I was accused of these things. It's so hard to get into it. I don't want to give it any more breath. It was a bummer of a thing that happened. I was essentially acquitted. I wasn't convicted of anything. I was caught up in a big situation. A stupid kid in a stupid situation. He was an adult. And it's a fucking bummer. I've moved on from it. Has Mark moved on from it? Mark is a doctor currently. He works in medical malpractice. I don't know. Should we ask Mark if he's moved on from probably one of the most traumatic experiences of his life, getting hazed so badly and injured so badly that he had to leave his university? I'm glad you've moved on from it, Jon Hamm. So let me ask you a question. Are people going to call this out? Or do we just let it go because he's the popular guy and he's best friends with Andy Cohen and he's the hot one and he's, sexy and loves Bravo and all of those things, all the reasons I like him? Do we just let him go? Or do we just remember that that's not a normal thing you do? He says he was a kid. He wasn't. He was a sophomore in college. You're basically drinking age. That's weird. I wouldn't do that. Be better, Jon Hamm.